Welcome to Ricky PFC and welcome to my World Cup Budget Stack series. In these videos I'm going to be going over different teams and players that you can enter into your Global Cup as well as your All-Star and International Specials during the World Cup to hopefully win you some prizes without breaking the bank. And I'm going to do the research so you don't have to. Let's get into it, guys. Hi guys, so in this video we're going to be doing a stack on Serbia for the World Cup. As you can see, Serbia are in Group G. Again, this is probably one of the most competitive groups because you've got Brazil, Switzerland and Cameroon in the same group, and they're all pretty good teams in their own right. For me, Brazil personally are favourites. Let me know who you think is going to win the World Cup in the comments. But yeah, a tough group for Serbia. Top two for this group, I'm going to go Brazil and Switzerland personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of the three, apart from Brazil, ended up in that second spot. So let's get into the players, guys. Okay guys, so this one was a tough one. I did a poll on YouTube the other day and people requested most out of the options that I gave Serbia, so that's what I'm doing. The goalkeeper situation was tough. So in the end, for number one, I went with Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Now, Vanja currently plays for Torino. He's been doing okay. He's broke into the starting lineup and he's been putting on some decent scores. Torino have been doing okay in the league. You can pick him up for £143 for his limited, which is more on the pricier side compared to some of the other goalkeepers we've been looking at, or £1,000 for his rare. So if you look at this is the thing that troubles me a little bit. He didn't play any of the World Cup qualifiers, but he played the last 4 UEFA Nations League games. So it seems that with his pick-up in form and him breaking into that side, the coach Stojkovic picked him for the last couple of games. So it's a tough one because we've also got Predrag Rakitic. He's a cheaper option at £69 for his limited, and he's also played quite a few of the international games. He's currently playing for Mallorca, and I would argue he's putting in better scores than the previous goalkeeper, Vanja. And also when you look, he played 6 of the World Cup qualifiers, but only 1 of the UEFA Nation Leagues games. Some of the research I've been doing online, a lot of the research seems to point towards Vanja now being the first choice. But when you're picking, if you do decide to go with one of the Serbian goalkeepers, I'd probably steer clear and go with someone a little bit more touted to be 100% the starter, because this one's tough. The other one is Marko Dimitrijevic. He plays for Sevilla. He's been in and out of the squad. As you can see, very dappled amount of performances, but good scores. And he also played some of the international games recently. 2 of the World Cup qualifiers, 3 of the Nation Leagues there, and 1 of the Nation Leagues there. In my opinion, he's dropped to 3rd string on the goalkeeper, the 3rd choice goalkeeper. I'm going with Vanja, but it could be between Vanja and it could be between Predrag Rakitic. So that's something to consider. In my final squad, I've gone with Vanja. So next, guys, for defender, I've gone for Stefan Mitrovic as a much more budget option because this is the most expensive team I've done so far. £2.65 for his limited, which is great. £40 for his rare, which is also really cheap. As you can see, he's been doing okay for his team, Getafe. And if you look internationally down here, 4 of the World Cup qualifiers as well as 4 of the UEFA Nation League games. So I feel like he could be one of the starting defenders. Not 100%, but I think he could be. Next, midfield, Nemanja Gudlic. I hope I'm pronouncing these correctly. I don't think I am. Let me know if I'm not. £4 for his limited, £62 for his rare. Good player. He's currently playing for Sevilla, and as you can see, he's been doing okay recently. He's put in some high greens. If we look internationally, he does play a lot of the games. 7 World Cup qualifiers, 2 of the Nation League games. I would say he's one of the starters in midfield, and he's definitely one of your cheaper options for £4 personally. I'm trying to make some of the options cheaper because we are really short on Serbian forwards. I'll explain the situation in a minute, and they're expensive, man, really expensive. They are the big boys. So forward, Dusan Vlahovic. As you can see, £194 or 2.4 grand for his rare. It's a tough one because Vlahovic has not played the last 2 games. He's injured with a groin injury, but he's still been called up to the World Cup, and the coach has said that he expects him to play, and he's talking with the doctors and stuff, but he thinks that he will be fit for the World Cup for their first game, which is against Brazil, I believe. So I had to put him in. As you can see, he's one of the main men. 8 World Cup qualifiers with 4 goals, 2 Nation Leagues games. He's going to be one of the main guys. So my next player in the extra slot, I went for another defender, Nikola Milinkovic. £40, so quite pricey, but you're going to get some good utility from him in the other leagues when the World Cup's finished. As you can see, he's doing really well for Fiorentina. But if we go to his international record at the moment, we can see he played 5 of the World Cup qualifiers and 4 of the Nation Leagues games. So he's another strong pick, and he's in good form. Fiorentina are doing okay. I think he makes it into the starting lineup. Again, with any of these guys, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Please put your predictions in so the viewers can go into the comments and get a different opinion to mine. And I would really like to know personally as well. Next player, so these are just some other options, guys, if you don't like the lineup that I'm going with. Strahinja Pavlovic, should I say. Expensive. He plays for Salzburg, which always tend to be pricier. £50 for his limited, £380 for his rare for this defender, centre-back. Good scores, as you can see, but that is for Salzburg, who are a dominant team. I think he could also be in contention with making the starting lineup. But if you look internationally, he's played 4 Nation Leagues games and 7 of the World Cup qualifiers. So it's likely that he's going to be a starter, but you're going to have to pay more money for him, which is why I haven't put him in my starting lineup, because I'm trying to give you guys more budget options. A lot of the people who watch my channel don't have very big portfolios, don't have a big budget. So that's why. Next option. Outside option, Luka Yovik. We all know about Yovik. His times at smashing it at Frankfurt, and then his downfall at Real Madrid, where he hasn't done very good at Real Madrid. Didn't really get much of a chance. Playing for Fiorentina now. He is a cheaper option at £35 for his limited, £331 for his rare. And as you can see, he's been doing okay. He's been playing some sub appearances, low appearances there, but then he's been putting in decisives and better scores. As you can see, decisive. He is a good option. The reason I've put him in, even though I think he's third choice in the strikers, is because based on the formation that Serbia tend to play, they like to play with 2 strikers. That being Alexander Mitrovic from Fulham and Vlahovic from Juventus. Mitrovic has also had the last 2 games off injured with an ankle injury. Again though, the national coach, I don't know if he's just trying to calm nerves, has said that he expects Mitrovic to play and be fit for the Brazil game. Mitrovic has also said in the media that I would play even if I lost my leg. So we'll see. He could be an outside shout, because it could be the case that both of them aren't fit for the first game against Brazil and Yovik gets his chance. Who knows? If we just look internationally for Yovik, he still played 7 of the World Cup qualifiers and 6 of the Nations League games, and he put in 2 assists in the Nation League games. So he's still a good option. Even if you have him as a sub, he will be making sub appearances, and I think he'll be making an impact. So he makes the team cheaper if you go with Yovik instead of Vlahovic. Mitrovic hasn't got a card on SORARE, and as you can see, like I said, last 2 games injured with an ankle injury. So but he is one of the main men, and he has had a fantastic season so far. He played 8 of the World Cup qualifiers, scoring 8 and scored 6 in his 5 Nation Leagues games. So if he's fit, you better believe he's going to be starting. But is he going to be fit? I don't know. So this is my team that I went for in the end, guys. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, Stefan Mitrovic, Nemanja Gudlic, Dusan Vlahovic, and Nikola Milinkovic. Now, you could put Yovik in there as the forward. They don't seem to have that many forward options. I also looked at one of the wingers as well, but he also didn't have a card on SORARE. So he only had a rare, sorry. So I didn't really want to involve him. So if you want to buy this team, currently it's 462 on the floor price, which is pricey. It's £491 total. If you go with Yovik instead of Vlahovic, that comes down to £262 for the limited squad, which is more reasonable for what you're looking for. Okay guys, now let's quickly just look at the options in the Global Cup. See, SORARE have also gone with Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, and Predrag Rakovic is one of the lower options at 6. But I don't know. I really don't know. I believe that Dimitrovic is actually there and Rakovic is more likely there at 8. Who knows, guys? I'd probably steer clear of the goalkeeper situation for Serbia if I were you. Defenders. So Stefan Mitrovic, who I went for, is the second most expensive at 9, as well as Nikola Milinkovic, who's 8. So that would give you a good indication that these are considered starting players, and not too bad. They are in a competitive group. Personally, I haven't got any Serbian players in my Global Cup squad because they are in a really competitive group, but they could do pretty well. Who knows? Midfielders, as you can see, a big option who I didn't add is Milinkovic-Savic from Napoli. Not Napoli, Lazio. Apologies. Because he's bloody expensive. So I wanted to give you guys some cheaper options. Another good option for midfield is Filip Kostic, who I think will also play every game and provide a lot of assists, but he is expensive as well. So I went for the cheaper options, as you can see. Nemanja Gudlic there at an 8, which is pretty good considering you've got these guys down here as well. So I would expect him to be starting. Lukic is another good option. But yeah, go to the forwards. As you can see, Tadic, another very, very good option, but you're going to pay so much money for him. If I added Vlahovic, Tadic, Milinkovic-Savic and Kostic into this team, it's going to be so expensive. You're going to be looking at like £1,000 for a limited team, and that's just not what this series is about, I'm afraid. It's about budget options. Mitrovic at 13, Tadic at 15, Vlahovic, who I went with as one of my options, at 12, or you could take the risk and go for Luka Yovik at a cheeky 6. This was the other player that I looked at for the forwards, Zivkovic, but I couldn't seem to find a card for him on SORARE, so I went with Yovik and Vlahovic. Will these two be fit? If you're Serbian, I'd be worried. I would be worried. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Anyway, that is the squad for the Serbia team, budget team for the World Cup. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.